think they would prefer organized labor from a productivity perspective, from an ability to invest in their training, from a predictability perspective. Of course, irrational labor laws around the fact that you cannot adjust your workforce if your demand gets changed. See, we have to, finally, I think the left parties don't understand that shareholders don't pay your salary, customers do. And to say that, companies are not immortal, companies have seasons, companies.
So essentially, if they are able to hire and fire workers, and there is some cleaning up of the laws, then there would be higher growth in the organized sector labor force, which is not what is happening today. And so actually the worker is worse off because he can be fired at any time. He doesn't get, the laws regulating working conditions are not implemented. Is that the main story there?
Yes, it is. Our labor laws make sure that 100% of job creation happens in the unorganized sector. And from a policy perspective, from an employer's perspective, from an employee's perspective, it's economically stupid and it's morally wrong, to my mind.
You have said that corruption is one of the issues that is important here, and then that's something that companies like yours have really got to fight when you when you try to provide workers for a company. Give me some examples. What are the kind of problems you face?
Well, they're irrational. See, there are 20 million, say, people in this country on contract, on temporary, 20% of India's labor force, which is 80 million people. But 99% of that is in the unorganized sector. Only 1% of that is in the organized sector. Why? Because the key service that the unorganized sector provides is regulatory arbitrage. See, all my competitors are either criminals or politicians because they provide three services. If the labor inspector comes, I'll take care of him. If this guy asks for a permanent job, I'll break his legs. Most importantly, gross salary is equal to net salary. So there'll be no ESI, no PF, so you give him money. While I comply with all labor laws and I have a problem competing with the unorganized sector. So how do I compete with them? After a point, you get tired of being a walking ATM machine for the labor inspector. So now we have 200, 300 court cases which we are fighting and willing to do because we believe that an unjust law is no law at all.
Otherwise, in all the laws, it's paid by politicians who then can actually hire and.
If every force, no employer could exist. I think labor law reform is between how the law is written into practice. That wrong, I don't know, but I think it's inefficient. We must acknowledge it. We're not asking for China. We're not asking to exist. The father of Greek medicine, Paracelsus, say that dope makes the poison. So anything powerful enough to help has the power to hurt. Today our labor laws are hurting the very people they masquerade to protect.
Can states take the initiative and amend a lot of the laws that they have? So we've heard, for example, Gujarat has employment. That's right, is it?
Yes, but Gujarat has been trying to do labor reform and it has been rejected by the center. See, I don't know why labor was put in the concurrent list of the Constitution. You would keep law and order a state subject and you made labor a concurrent subject. Labor markets are local. We need to make labor markets labor habitat. Job creation is a confluence of labor demand, labor supply, legislation. Let's draft their own habitat. Right to the current of the Constitution. I go to they say go to the center, says go to the job creation is a policy or
wouldn't states be taking over that role so that actually they can compete with each other, provide more jobs?
But it's not allowed. See, the concurrent list of the Constitution means the central government says you can be better than me, you can't be less than me. So Gujarat or four states have now written to the center saying we want to change the labor laws, but the central legislation, you can be more than them, you can't be less than them, is what the concurrent list means.
Okay, Manish, let's turn to longer term questions. You've said that ability is a problem, that the university system, the schools, out students who are employable.
Right.
What are the kind of changes that you would like to see in the system.
Right.
If you were to, if they were to produce children who at least you feel
Right.
at your very low skill
Yes.
level are good enough.
Well, I distinguish between repair and prepare. Repair is training and prepare is education. In the skill, in repair, in training, there's a whole National Skill Development Mission, National Skill Council. We need to do a lot there. But the training pipeline will run dry if the education is not fixed. And that's what they should have learned. So what education which we have English. English is a vocation. It's like Windows. It's an unintended consequence of the Baptist of the Northeast. Means a migrant from the Northeast gets 8 because he goes to work in a hotel or an air hostess or a restaurant, while a migrant from UP and Bihar gets 3,000 rupees a month. They work as packers and loaders with us. So English is a vocational skill. It increases your labor mobility and it increases your employment outcomes by 400%. We have the data to prove it. You need to understand basic computers and you need work skills, soft skills, life skills, work skills, whatever.
Just being able to talk to people, converse.
Yes, just look at me in the eye, just comb your hair, just tuck your shirt in, just take a bath. I mean, as basic as that, a little more of...
But then you would find this if children go to public schools or private schools. Does that make a big difference?
It's more the divide there is rural and urban.
It's rural and urban.
In terms of pure soft skills, but English is not the difference.
That needs a big and overalling change.
You need to abolish AICT, you need to abolish UGC, you need to get rid of the ayatollahs of education.
Focus really has to be on how to produce kids who have the required skills to be able to go into the job market, and the job market as it is today.
They have to be work ready.
Service sector. So there are a lot of issues, and it doesn't look easy. A lot of long-term reforms, political consensus, maybe changing the constitution, as Manish suggests, to make labor laws a state subject. Tough times ahead, many challenges. Thank you, Manish. Thank you for being on the show. Thanks.